I felt my heartbeat quicken. My breathing changed, and all of a sudden I was sort of warm all over. Dreading what I would see, I called out, "Somebody bring me your yearbook." As I opened the 350-page tome and found my way to the designated page, I read the article titled, "Times of Palestine." I made my way through it quickly, ready to lose my temper at any minute and feel outraged. And when I arrived at the bottom of the page, I stopped and decided I needed to just calm down, start the article again, and read it more slowly. I was looking for the anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, or anti-Zionist part of the high school students' written reflection in the beautiful new public school yearbook that had been posted on social media. And then it struck me. The reason I was confused. I personally did not find the message anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, or anti-Zionist. I found it in poor taste to include in a yearbook. I found it what I hoped was a mistake of judgment. And what was absolutely clear and present was the profound upset and anger of some of the Jewish community. And whether we agree or not really did not matter, nor was it the point. What mattered, what is real and for sure, is when someone is hurting or angry or afraid, it impacts all of us. This has been a tough week. As campus protests continue, the hostages remain in captivity, the war in Gaza focuses on what will happen in Rafah, and a terrific Houston neighborhood public high school with a sizable Jewish student population finds itself the focus of national publicity in the realm of anti-Semitic and free Palestine tensions. It is difficult to say the least. Tensions are high, and lots of people are feeling upset and scared. While I have not done it, it's certainly tempting to push all that pain away, to tune out the stories and commentaries and reactions, to turn off the reports, the updates, to just disengage from social media. And doing some of that, or lessening our exposure, is healthy, and I want to advise you to take a Shabbat off. We cannot totally look away, and we cannot pretend that all is well. We cannot ignore the upset around us. The unsettled landscape in our city, our country, and our world is real. We must stay alert, educated, informed, and curious. Yes, you heard me right. We must be curious and lean into curiosity when all feels like it's spinning out of control. Curiosity may be the most important attribute, the most helpful posture, because unlike a stance of surety, it offers some give, an opening, a place to go, an opportunity for different growth and, God willing, change. Without question, curiosity is a Jewish value. We just celebrated Passover and sat around our beautiful Seder tables a couple weeks ago. The hallmark mechanism that leads to the fulfillment of the mitzvah of telling our story is asking questions, 4 in particular. We emphasize its importance by empowering the youngest children to do the asking. Perhaps this tradition recognizes that as we grow older in our adult lives, we are less comfortable not knowing. We think we have to have it all figured out, to be specialists, and that our role is to teach and model and pass down the lessons in life stories. But be very clear, at the core of Judaism, of our identity, it is to be a people of question askers, of seekers, of wonderers. If you've ever been in a yeshiva, you've experienced the intensity and loudness of students in study together, pairs bantering back and forth. It is because no one person has all the answers. No individual can figure out all the intricacies and the depth of inspiration, the laws and lessons from our ancient texts alone. We aren't supposed to do it alone, nor are we supposed to do it quietly. The Talmud, the body of Jewish civil and ceremonial law and legend, presents pieces of the Mishnah, the oral law, followed by the Gemara, the rabbi's questions, analysis, debates, and rulings. Our tradition gets it right by masterfully preserving the questions right along with the answers because they are equally vital and important. For a number of years, a piece of artwork hung in the temple's conference room, and it was something I admired and contemplated over and over and over again. I found myself drawn to it and even distracted by it during some meetings. It's a picture of a man's face, and it says, "Teach thy tongue to say I do not know, and thou shalt progress." Attributed to Maimonides, it is the perfect backdrop for Torah study classes, staff and executive committee meetings alike. It regularly reminded me that to advance, to grow, to get better at my work, my life, and to become more learned in our tradition, I needed to be more open to not knowing. During the early years of my time at Temple, it seemed contradictory and even confusing. I'd gone to college for 4 years and then rabbinical school for 5 years. Wasn't I supposed to have the answers and know the stuff to lead and teach others? Wasn't that why I was hired by this special place? No, I've come to learn. That is not my primary role. I am here, more importantly, to be curious, to ask questions and encourage you to ask questions too. To ask the questions that you think you should already know the answer to ask the questions that you asked before and you need to ask again because life, the world, and you are different now. And perhaps most importantly, to ask the questions for which we fear there are no answers so that we can sit and gather and pray in that feeling of uncertainty together. Teaching our tongue to say I do not know powerfully launches us on a path of learning and inquiry that leads to a greater sense of wonder and curiosity and a more powerful appreciation of the complexities, vastness, and dynamic nature of ourselves and the world. And I might suggest that a lack of curiosity, interest, and investigation limits the potential greatness and richness of our lives. This week's Torah portion is Kedoshim. It comes from the middle of the Torah in the book of Leviticus. Its words are so central to our tradition, our faith, and our identity as Jews that we read it on Yom Kippur, our holiest day of the year. In this portion, God commands Moses to say to the Israelite people, Kedoshim tihiyu, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. The verses that follow are a long list of things we're supposed to do and not supposed to do to become holy. The text asserts that we shall be holy. We are not yet holy. We must strive for holiness by the way we behave, not once or twice, but in an ongoing way, an eternal posture of growth, reaching, and improvement. I think that yearning, that growing, that holiness to be emerges most profoundly from curiosity about ourselves, other people, the earth, and God. This Shabbat, as we celebrate with Henry and Rowan and their families, so much of the joy and sweetness, the real simcha of the weekend, comes from getting a tiny little glimpse of their curiosity and wonder as it manifests in their very becoming. Oh, how special they are, and a blessing that they share with us as they led us so beautifully tonight and will read from Torah and teach us tomorrow. And so on this Shabbat and in the days ahead, as concern creeps in, because it will, when feelings of being overwhelmed threaten to drown us, because they may, I urge you, turn to curiosity and teach your tongue to say, I do not know, and you shall progress. Shabbat shalom.